and it just wasn't a rough day for Lance Stroll. Today was an extremely expensive day for so many teams. Williams had Alex Albon crash in qualifying, and then unfortunately, wasn't able to start the race. Franco Colapinto, as you guys have been saying, been really good so far this year. Has showed that he belongs on the grid in 2025, and seems like some things are happening behind the scenes to make that a reality. We'll have to wait and see on that. Colapinto crashing qualifying and in the race, and then we already talked about Stroll's crashing qualifying, and then on formation lap, Fernando Alonso crashed in qualifying. So an expensive day for Aston Martin and Williams. Carlos Sainz crashed qualifying in the race. Haas had both cars go off, but no hard hits. Still ended up with some damage, all while Alpine went from 9th to 6th in the Constructors Championship. So Alpine definitely took advantage of some costly mistakes from others. So, Ben, how costly was this weekend for the teams across the board? And do you think Alpine can keep 6th place through the end of the season?
Yeah, well, God bless the Williams mechanics, for all the crap Logan Sargent got about leading the World Constructors Championship, as it were. Certainly heavy hits for both Franco Colapinto and Alex Albon this weekend. You feel for Albon not being able to start the race, and I thought in the back of my mind, maybe, just maybe, they might compromise Colapinto's race to give him the best start, because he really should have been starting, well up the grid. Great drive for him to get into Q3, and unfortunate that he couldn't start the race, but they elected to do not the opposite of what they did in Australia earlier this year. And he ended up being the one that couldn't start. Franco Colapinto, unfortunately, ran into more trouble during the race as well. But very costly for them. And, you have to wonder, given that this was a team that didn't have a spare chassis until multiple races into the season, where, their budget is at. And, continuing to drop down the Constructors Championship with the results today. They're now down in 9th place. And just looking at the points right here, I don't see them gaining, 27 points that they would have to pick up here to get back to RB, and that's if RB doesn't score for the next few weeks. They had a double points day today as well, 7 to 9, so give them their flowers there. Sauber has been nowhere near the points all season, so I don't see them scoring any points the next 3 races, much less the 17 that it would take to catch Williams. So I think Williams is probably set now to finish in 9th place based on what Alpine did here. But I mean, my goodness, boy, do we have a great battle for 6th going on right now. And who knows? Like I just said, talk about Red Bull fighting with only one of their 2 cars, scoring points on a consistent basis. I mean, it's been weeks since Lance Stroll was in the points for Aston Martin. And if Fernando Alonso can't get into the points, it's been a few races since he's been able to do that. I don't know. I mean, if Alpine has another weekend like they had today here, who's to say they can't take the fight to Aston Martin for 5th here? But assuming that, everybody kind of stays, on level ground here, and if they come back down to earth at Vegas and then through Qatar and Abu Dhabi, you would think RB is kind of on the rise up here, and as is Haas. Haas has had some strong weekends here recently. Maybe not so much here in Sao Paulo, and certainly hope Kevin Magnussen is well on the mend as well here. Unfortunate what happened to him this weekend, but rough week for Ollie Behrman. I'm excited to see what he can do in the future. I still think he has a very bright future in the sport. It wasn't his weekend this weekend though, and then of course Nico Hulkenberg getting the disqualification left Haas really wanting more from this weekend here, but. They're going to be motivated coming into, I guess, what's one of their home races as a team, Vegas, the next race. And, we'll see. It's going to be a fantastic battle. And as, David Croft and Karun Chandok mentioned, as the race was wrapping up here, we may look back on this as a potential $50 million day here for Alpine with how much they moved up the constructors in this one weekend alone. They had 16 points coming into this weekend. I believe, or 50 or somewhere in that range. They basically tripled their, trying to do math quickly in my head here, basically tripled their constructors points coming into this weekend, or coming out of this weekend, rather, with the 49 that they have now. So a fantastic weekend for both Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly. First double podium for that team since I think they were Lotus when Roman Grosjean and Kimi Räikkönen were driving for them. And the first time, I think, since 1997, they said that, 2 Frenchmen were on the podium there as well. So, great weekend. I know Matthew was saying, probably not too many shining moments if you're, unless you're a Max Verstappen fan this weekend. Certainly, if you're an Alpine fan, I know that they certainly have some fans out there that are going to be celebrating this one well into the night as well here. So, congratulations to them. A fantastic run today, and we'll see if they can hold on to 6th place here in the last 3 races.
The battle for 6th place is going to be a lot of fun between Alpine, Haas, Visa, Cash App, Racing Bulls. The big thing I feel that's a big advantage for them when you look at Alpine. The other teams that struggle, particularly Williams, they are getting closer to cost cap limit with all the repairs. The other teams that have, even Mercedes, Toto Wolff said no more upgrades because of the big crashes from George Russell. The cost cap, that's going to be an issue. For Alpine, I feel like this could be just the right time to start bringing in some upgrades, bringing the fight to Haas, Ferrari. Las Vegas is going to be very hard for them. Their lack of power is going to hurt them in those straightaways. But Qatar and then Abu Dhabi, it could be two good races for them to potentially have point finishes. Ocon, I think he's motivated to get more points before he leaves the team. Pierre Gasly wants to get some more points for them. It's going to be really interesting to see how they turn out. And at the end of the day, for all the teams, like Aston Martin, Williams especially, what a costly race weekend. Even Ferrari, Carlos Sainz crashing twice. That's going to hurt them because when it comes to the cost cap, repairs rather than upgrades just sets them a little bit behind. So for Alpine, I feel like they really, second and third place, they were the big winners of this weekend because they brought the cars home in one piece, tripled their points. They're now sixth place. They have the next race is going to be a challenge, but the other two afterwards could play in their favor.
Yeah, Joe, I apologize. I'd forgotten that Pierre Gasly took 7th in the sprint, so that was 2 more points there. I was just trying to do the math quickly in my head. So they had 14 points coming into this weekend, leaving with 49. It's a 35-point gain there, 33 from the race today, 18 plus 15, and then 2 from the sprint as well for Gasly. So it's actually, I guess, 3.5 times as many points as they had coming into this weekend they're leaving with here. So a fantastic weekend for Alpine, no doubt.